So this morning I watched the original 1995 anime of Ghost in the Shell, and then I went straight to the theater and watched the new one. This is the result. Also, a lifetime of depression and dissociation from reality. Ghost in the Shell, directed by Rupert Sanders and starring Scarlett Johansson and Malcolm McDowell. Oh, it's not? Okay. And Pilo Asbak? The other one was directed by Mamoru Oshii and stars Mimi Knight. So first of all, I have seen the anime a couple times before when I was 14 and had probably some sexual issues I needed to work out professionally. So I don't remember anything except for the nudity. Now, that said, I wish that the live action one had been rated R, not for the nudity, although that wouldn't have been against it. But also, I wanted to see some people explode again, you know? The only real good thing about the anime is the action and the people exploding and, well, the music too. The music of that anime is really what saved it, because both of these are incredibly boring movies. The original anime was 83 minutes long, and I swear a third of it was just still keyframes to save money. Like, animation was probably a lot more expensive back in the day, especially since you didn't have computers to assist you with everything, but holy shit, they would just leave it there on a character and have dialogue coming in from the sides, but like no motion, nothing really to look at. And then they'd have these long montages just going through the city streets, and it's just drawings of basically our architecture porn. That's all you're looking at. Like, my point is that the movie didn't have to be as long as it was. With movies less than 90 minutes long, I really feel like they either need to go longer or cut a ton of stuff out and just go short. Like, Ghost in the Shell could have made a really good 48-minute OVA. But for some reason, they thought they had enough material to make a full 90 minutes and then realized quickly that they didn't and had to just jam a whole bunch of establishing shots in there. Now, the movie did a lot better with that. They managed to stretch the movie out for an extra half hour or so by filling in a lot of the boring parts that happened. See, I consider Ghost in the Shell to be sort of the Dinner with Andre of anime. It's something that was probably quite provocative back when it first came out, but nowadays, with culture as cynical as it is, these kinds of thoughts aren't really innovative in any way. Like in My Dinner with Andre, they're going on about how fake the world is, and it's like, wow, I had that conversation in 8th grade. I wasn't a 50-year-old theater guy, you know? And in this, they're, at least in the anime, they changed a lot for the movie. But in the anime, they were going on about, is an AI basically alive? And it's like, yeah, it's 2017. We all know that AI are alive. We've all played Mass Effect. So it's hopefully the last movie or any kind of media where they have to explore the AI as not just the other, but also like a brother, you know, to humanity. Because no matter what you think, AI are going to be here, and they will either enslave us or work in symbiotically with us. That's pretty much up to them. Worrying about it now isn't going to help. One of the ways that they expanded on the anime in the live-action movie is they went into the Major's backstory before she became a robot, which was confusing to me. Because in the anime, I was brought up to the assumption that every bit of her was man-made and that the consciousness, or ghost, as they put it, manifested itself spontaneously inside the mechanical brain. But in the movie, they're saying that they literally kidnapped an Asian girl and jammed her into a white person's body, which is like, it's like in Get Out, they're putting white people's brains inside of black people's bodies. So now they're putting Asian people into those empty white people's bodies. So if you cut the white people out completely, just put Asian people in black people. But they also kind of they made you see Bato get his eyes. Like I liked Bato in the live action movie. The guy who played him, the Swedish dude, he was cool. I genuinely thought he was Malcolm McDowell in the trailers though, so when I saw how young he actually was, I was like, oh, okay, I guess I just fixated on his hair there. But they showed you getting his eyes, which is not something I felt was necessary. The live action movie could have been 83 minutes and I would have been just fine because the visuals were actually impressive. It was like Doctor Strange levels of visuality, and the story itself not only deviated a lot from the anime, but I feel like in a lot of ways it contradicted it. And then not to mention just massive holes in my understanding of the film because they would just be doing something, like no explanation of why. I have no idea how the Major found her mother. I must have missed a line of dialogue or her jacking into a computer or something, but like, I don't know. I didn't feel that this movie was terribly necessary. I didn't really want to rewatch the original Ghost in the Shell anime because as a kid, I didn't particularly enjoy it. I couldn't jerk off to it, successfully. I could get started, I guess. I did like the invisibility in the anime because in the movie, it was always like it had the telltale shimmer from Predator and it was often malfunctioning. But in the anime, they would be fully invisible, which is probably cheaper for animation purposes, granted. You'd see a guy standing there on the end of his boat, and then he'd get knocked off, and you're like, oh, okay, that's where the guy's doing. I appreciated the invisibility a lot more when it was actual invisibility and not just glitchy. They didn't even put the Puppet Master into the movie. Like, I was under the impression that it was going to be a lot more faithful of a adaptation. But they switched it up so that at first you think it's this guy Kuze or Hideo, but then it turned out to be a government guy or the leader of their section. I don't know what his job was. He just kind of appeared halfway through the movie. Overall, if I had to pick which one I wanted to watch again, it would be the live action movie because at least there's something cool to look at for it. And there was a lot more action scenes and a lot less clunky ass exposition. Like, holy shit, they have never heard of subtlety in Japan. As for the Major versus Motoko, Scarlett Johansson did a pretty good performance, but the dead fish eyes that Motoko had in the anime, which I really like in anime, it doesn't work in real life. Unconsciously, Scarlett Johansson is emoting too much through her eyes, and I knew it wasn't going to work when I was sitting there watching the anime this morning. Scarlett Johansson did a much better verbal performance. The girl who played Motoko was literally just reading an audiobook. That's what it sounded like. Every line of dialogue was like my mom listening to an audiobook. In conclusion, both of these movies were really boring and not anywhere near as intelligent or provocative as they were expecting to be.